Hi everyone, it's Promise Odera on here again. Okay, so today I have some things to say about what is being meted on the Igbos. First thing first, I want to appreciate Igbos in Nigeria for their endurance, for their tolerance, for their perseverance and resilience. You know, in the face of all the adversity, the hatred, the rejection, and the subjugation to suffering and loss and every kind of unthinkable things that have been meted on them in their own country over the years. And I also want to say that it's also very, very shameful that a commissioner in Lagos will address on a national TV Igbos as immigrants in Nigeria, in Lagos, a former capital of Nigeria. And this absurdity and evil is purely because Igbos are quiet, calm, even in the face of adversary. But just like a lion sleeps for 23 hours in a day. He eats only once a day. The gentleness of a lion should not be mistaken for cowardice. What is being meted on the Igbos, they have endured. If it's not destroying their homes in Lekki, it will be destroying their shops or place of business. And all these things started from 2023 election, where they started accusing Igbos because, of course, APC lost in the Lagos election. Started saying that Igbos are many in Lagos. I started asking them to leave Lagos. And then they brought up this propaganda and rhetoric that Lagos is a no man's land. Whereas we all know that the Yorubas own Lagos, is their land. So, they started pushing the agenda. First, it was FFK that came to warn us, and then they started destroying shops. For you to buy a land, you have to go through some process, go through some people, pay for it. You have to pay Omonile, you have to pay the landowners, if it's community, if it's government. For you to start building, you have to settle the youth, you have to settle the boys, you have to still on top of that, pay for planning, pay for everything payable. You start electing the structures, employ local residents, sometimes indigenous. And then after you finish building that property, suddenly somebody will wake up from somewhere and remember that you built it on a canal. Man's evil to man. We are doing this because Igbos are not in power, because Igbos don't have a president. I was listening to General Irabo, the former chief defense staff of Nigeria that released a book recently under Goodluck Jonathan, with Sheun Okibaloye on Channels TV. And he said that Nigeria has suffered a lot and have not reconciled from the civil war. In fact, he referred that to the civil war or the attempt of the Kaduna Zogo and others as the second coup. And said that the first coup was Awolowo's attempt, of course, to take power from Tafawa Balewa. Now, the reason why those military guys, of course, Yoruba man was involved in that, wanted to carry out the coup was to go and release Awolowo. And in fact, make him the president. He was in Calabar prison then. All of this history was wiped away from us. We were deceived for the longest time that it was an Igbo coup. Until recently, Abibi wrote a book. And I think the message has been confirmed and reconfirmed by different people and different quarters. Although Gowon have been saying it for this while, people have been saying it. But it was good it came from one of the big players. So now we know it's not an Igbo coup. But Igbos have lost over 3 million people, still losing a lot of people. People are still dying. The sit at home has been in force since, I think, over 5 years now in the East. But of course, because the East is seen as an annexation or an addendum to Nigeria, nobody cares. They believe, Igbos are doing it to themselves. I really commend the Igbos for their patience. Sometimes it looks like they're docile, but imagine what will happen if they start retaliation. Because at the end of the day, everybody thinks like you have to use violence to have your way. If Igbos think like the Northerners, or if they behave like the Southwest, there will be no Nigeria. Let's be honest. And like people have said, Ojukwu didn't want to fight a war. He was forced to, fight a war. He said it himself. It was inevitable. But why am I saying this? Why am I saying this? If we continue the path that we are going to end up having more animosity, hatred for ourselves. And in fact, those that fought to keep Nigeria safe, to keep Nigeria one, to keep Nigeria as indivisible, their time is coming to an end very soon. They will soon die off. They're much older now. And the generation that is following is where the real danger lies. The generation that have not been informed, that does not understand. In fact, the Ojukus, the Gowons, the Madwebos, these were like mates. They all went to Sandhurst here in the UK. They all were like military. They were all friends. They had a little bit of understanding. There was a bit of resource control going on. But right now, this generation have carried the hatred. Some of them, their parents taught them to hate Igbos. So the level of animosity and hatred for each other, for tribes, amongst the younger generation, man, when your father sends you to go and steal, you use your leg to break a door. That's an Igbo adage. The hatred for one another now amongst Nigerians is untold, as in, is unimaginable. So if those people that actually fought for Nigeria's unity do not do something really, really important, really important, to actually do something on a very, very minute level and high level to make sure that they restore some sense of belonging to every quarter of Nigeria, I don't see Nigeria lasting. Not as a country. Because the hatred amongst people, all these ones, politicians will pretend and be calling each other friend, not for Gen Z, not for millennium. They are not in that set of pretense or trying to play politics and diplomacy. No. They will tell you point blank and simple, they don't like you. Move back to your side. Move back to your parts. We don't like... So, the hatred has been bred into some people, some by their parents, some by their grandmothers. And guess what we Igbos know about the Civil War too? We are all told how Nigeria meted the evil they meted on our forefathers. So at the end of the day, if you really want to save Nigeria, you have to focus on the message you are passing to the youth. You must make sure you do not pass any tribalistic message. And unfortunately, even our commissioners, in fact, it is so spelled out with the way they are changing the names of bus stops from Igbo names, the way their monarchs are calling Igbos names, that it is so obvious. I don't think even the younger generation or the youth in Nigeria can actually say that they don't know what is happening. That is, and in the days of internet, these things will continue to be read, to be seen, and the generations will be reading and seeing it, and they will continue that evil of hatred. And this is one of the reasons why I still maintain that Nigeria should not be one country. There's nothing like one Nigeria. We just keep lying and pretending to ourselves. You cannot be calling yourself one country, and then people constantly will be saying, an Igbo man cannot be president. An Igbo man cannot be president. We hate you guys. You guys are evil. They are fighting you in South Africa. They are fighting you in Ghana. They are fighting you. Okay, if you know you don't like this particular tribe, this one particular tribe, then allow them to go. No, we will not allow you to go. Why then? Igbos are so evil. Igbos are so evil. But you don't want them to go and have their own Biafra. The thing does not make any logical sense. If you know you hate these people so much, then allow them to go and form their own country. This is the same thing that have been done to the Israelites. And guess what? Israel now have their country. And look at what is happening around the Middle East. They are uncontrollable because of what have been done to them for years. Benjamin Netanyahu is releasing a lot of mayhem. And do you blame them? Because it's of years of animosity. That's what happens when people don't know that the people that they are holding on the ground is keeping at least knowledge or history of what they are doing. Igbos are like the Israelites of Africa or of Nigeria. They do business, they control the finance sector, they control the economic sector. What is happening now in Lagos is so bad that there is no attention paid to the families of those that their businesses are being lost. I was listening carefully to Sir Victor Ume, who came on national TV. I think it was Channels TV, their morning show. I was speaking to one of the ladies, there's an anchor there. And he said that the that happened recently in Lagos, in one of the business places, was a trade fair that belongs to the federal government. But the state government moved in there and if you see the way they were destroying the shops, you will see that they were not destroying it to knock down building. They would just go here, destroy the building, go here and destroy it. Just trying to show wickedness to the Igbos, just to reduce their prosperity. We serve a God that sees everything. He's a fair God. Igbos will continue to prosper. They are the head of banks, they are the head of businesses. They will continue to prosper. Just like the dust. The harder you hit them, the higher they rise. So why am I saying all of this? We have gotten to a point where I will suggest to the Igbos, if this continues, if any more of your businesses are demolished, start sitting down as a way of protest at home. As a way of protest, sit down on Mondays at home. Demand the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Tinubu came on, the first thing this was release Sunday Igbo, and thankfully Sunday Igbo is throwing his weight behind Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Released Azazaki, the other guy that was held in from the north, but then held on to Nnamdi Kanu, just to show Igbos that they are nothing. And like Dr. Mu said, he went to other parts of the country during campaign and invited those from the east to Lagos. You see, the Igbos are slaves in their own country. They are slaves in Nigeria. And to even think and imagine that an Igbo man got Nigeria independence is so ironical. So why am I saying this? It's high time. I heard that the rep from Abia State is suggesting that Abia people go and do protests in Abuja. You guys will be shot at sight. They've done it many, many times. That is what led to the enforcement of sit at home, so that they will see nobody to shoot. It's better that the Igbos, the Ohaneses, choose to do sit at home in Lagos. Do sit at home in Lagos to protest the evil that have been made, because these are people that have families, that have homes. You keep destroying their homes, and they keep keeping quiet as if they don't know what to do. If people sit down on Mondays in Lagos and close their shops, at least somebody will know that, these people are actually many. Because right now, the narrative they are using is that we are minority. Because they are now choosing South-South as a replacement for Igbos. Of course, these South-South have produced the likes of Goodluck, Wike, and Amechi. Igbos have become almost irrelevant. And any of our sons that try to climb up to that, peak, what do? They will show him so much, hatred and come for him so hard. Like they are doing to Nnamdi Kanu. Look at what they are doing to Peter Obi. All his businesses. In that trade fair, according to Victor Ume, Peter Obi is the patron of so many of those places. He has so many buildings, about 13 buildings belongs to him. I don't know how many of them have been damaged. All in the bid to show the hatred you have for a tribe that you claim you are one Nigeria with. Igbos should learn how to stop loving Nigeria. Play the same tribal politics that others are playing. You don't love Nigeria more than the people that you are in it with, who are constantly killing you, destroying you, gutting your shops with fire. Because the way you will see the way they come with caterpillar is the same way you will see that fire is also an arson done by somebody. Because it's always happening in one place. Igbos are everywhere in the country. It's always happening in Lagos. And I also want to commend the Ibadan people who actually shunned them when they wanted to bring that tribalism when GRV came to Lagos, just because he married an Igbo woman. I know there are some Yorubas that are good people, but to the bad eggs, they are also part of you. So it's either you talk to them, or they will contribute to the disunity and disintegration of Nigeria. Thank you.